Hey, what it do, YouTube? I was just smoking, pondering, smoking outside my window, observing things, and I was just thinking about what's average. Does the average man strive to be average, truly? The average man has, matter of fact, 75% of America, let's talk about numbers, 75% of America has $5,000 of debt attached to their name. You know, the average person does not own their own home. The average person in America is making $40,000. The average person has 2.3 children for the average family. 40% of America has a combined income of $50,000. The average American has less than $800 in their savings account. The average college graduate will be working in a field. Matter of fact, 75% of the college graduates will be working in a field that they did not go to school for. What does this have to do with anything? Do you really want to be average? Is that what you really want to be? People tell you things in life, and to me that's just the average perspective. Average will beget you average. In order to do something great, you have to do something uncommon. If you're going to take anybody's result, if you're going to take anybody's advice, please question the source, no matter if they're your mother or your brother or your sister. It doesn't even matter. If they went to college and they're not making the money they're supposed to be making, you should look at their advice skeptically. Just because they're your mother and you respect them in most areas, that does not mean that you should take their advice as a financial advisors. If you truly want to go to the promised land, and to me the promised land is, you know, the big house, the dog, the pool, the mountains of money, the constant vacations, the beautiful lady by my side, the wonderful, wonderful lifestyle and financial independence. That is the promised land. If you want to do that, or if you want to be that, you have to do something that the average man is not doing, because the stats quoted earlier are the average man's, and I don't want to be the average man's. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be the average man's too. I'm not a guru. I'm just trying to say that with the average person is not getting the money that you probably want to get. Think about it. Are the most educated people, are they the richest people? They do better than average. You know, and the average guy in America makes $40,000. That's average. You know, they do better than that. But is that really where you want to be? You know, are they making that much money? Do you want to be middle management for the rest of your life? For the next 30 years, if you're a young person out there, you're 21 years old, do you want to be middle management for the next 30 years? And hope that your 401k is going to be alright. It was alright during this economic downturn, was it? Oh, it wasn't? Oh. Well, if it wasn't, you should try a plan B, shouldn't you? You shouldn't just hedge your bets in one pigeonhole. I mean, that seems logical to me. Because I know for a fact that my best friend, he has a 401k going, and it was pretty strong, and he lost a significant amount of money because of what the economy was doing. And is it because he's young, he was singled out? No, he just had a 401k. So if your 401k is vulnerable, maybe you should do something else. Maybe you should invest in your own business. Maybe you should read a book on investing in your own business. I know for damn sure you can't do what the average guy's doing. That's not what I want. A great mind once said, if you want to find success in this world, identify what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. And that always made sense to me, because the average person is not really, you know, thinking too deeply about where they want to go in life or their goals, you know, or their financial security. They want financial security, but do they have, you know, establish goals, by the week, by the day, by the quarter, by the year, as to how to get there from point A to point B. Do they have a significant amount of savings to bear the brunt of a rainy day? These are the things that you should do today. Do so right now. If you got $40, put $5 away for a rainy day. Because motherfucker, it rains. And it pours when it does. I just want you to think about true prosperity and how to get there. And think about your family telling you about prosperity and how to get there. And if they're not a millionaire and they don't have prosperity, how the fuck can they tell you how to get there? And that's the way to true prosperity. Identifying the false sources and the real sources as to how to get there. That's what I want the black community to do. That's what I want my brothers to do. That's what I want everybody who hears my voice to do. Identify who has wealth. Even if you don't know them personally, you read a motherfucking book, you go to a website, you read about their life story, you try to emulate what they did. And that will get you closer to prosperity than listening to your father or your uncle or your mother or your cousin's advice about how to get riches in this world. Well, they ain't never seen nothing like that. They drive a big car which they don't own. Oh, that's common. They're in a big house which they don't own. That's common like a motherfucker. And you know what's also common nowadays? Foreclosures on homes. That's real common. So if these people are giving you advice and they have these characteristics of foreclosures, luxurious lifestyles that you don't think they can maintain in the long run, and you're just impressed by the glitz and the glamour, man, you need to reprioritize on what true wealth is. My advice is go to the richest motherfucker that you ever met in your life and ask him what he's doing. And that should be step one on how to become prosperous. And if you don't follow what he's doing to the T, it's nobody but your own fault. Now, does that make sense? Finding the most prosperous person that you know in life or have ever met and following what he does to a T? Because that's uncommon. Finding a mentor and doing what the fuck he says is very uncommon. Find you a mentor if you want to be prosperous. They'll tell you what to do, as opposed to listening to TV tell you how to become prosperous, watching Mad Money, and they'll tell you some real good financial advice. Well, if you think about that there, what if everybody on Mad TV was taking that financial advice? Wouldn't it shift the market, and wouldn't it be good advice anymore? Come on. Think about it. Do something strange. Invest heavily in your plan B, because I've seen what plan A does for people. It gets you old, it gets you full of debt, it gets you a jaded view toward jobs and life that's identifiable in all the older folk that I know in my family. They don't have as much hope for the future anymore. No hope for that promised land. All that shit has been burned out of them by the daily grind. I compare it to that I Love Lucy episode where she kept on eating. She was eating the bonbons off the conveyor belt because they kept going faster and faster, and that's all that she was doing, and that's all she was assigned to do. And if you have a mind-numbing job like that, like I had, and I had a couple of goddamn mind-numbing jobs like that, man, that is meant to take all the fucking hope and love and zest for life and goals that you have right out of you. That coupled with the debt, that coupled with the fluoride in the water. What are those funny ass contrails in the air that seem to hang around all day? You should look into that. Does that have anything to do with anything? Or are they just airplanes going parallel to each other all day or every 3 days that leave contrails that last for 6 hours in grid formations? That's what United Air does. They fly parallel to each other when they're going to LA and Baltimore and DC and Atlanta, they take the parallel ways next to each other. I mean, can't be more than a mile apart. That's what they do, and they leave contrails in an organized formation. You should check on that. That has something to do with why you feel how you feel, and why you just become more jaded about how to get to that promised land, and it just looks like you're running through that tunnel called life, and that promised land just becomes more and more of a mirage. Your debts get bigger, your paycheck doesn't get any bigger. I guess that's coincidence, right? Do something weird. Get your money in a different way that everybody else gets their money. At least that way you have a stronger chance of going where you want to go. Y'all be blessed.